Okay, we have several letters to wrap up the alphabet. And this letter is ha. Ha. And it's written like just a zero above the line. So, like that. Like that. Or if you want to start it this way. And some will actually make it like a knot like that. It's also acceptable, either without any addition here, or like that, or like that. Ha. It's tricky when it's written. When it is written in the middle of the sentence, isolated, so it's just like that. When it's the first letter, so you start right here, you make a loop within a loop, and then you move to the next letter. Okay? A loop within a loop, and then you go to the next letter. If it's medial, you come from, let's say, be, then you go down, up, make a loop, and then let's say go to ra. Naharun. Now we're putting the tanween there. Naharun. A. So this tanween there indicates a. Nahrun. A river. Nahrun. So notice how you write that. If it's final, it will look something like bihi. Bihi. With him. So it takes this shape like flag kind of thing looking. But if the letter before it does not connect, then it reverts to the, for example, ra, the ha will be ra, ha, if that was a word. The ha reverts to the isolated because the ra does not connect this way. It does not connect this way. So the final ha may look like this, or may look like this. It's tricky, keeps on practicing. The initial one is like this, the medial one is like this, the final one is either like this, or just like this. Another tricky letter, consonant, called the Hamza. Hamza, and it's a glottal stop not a, but and it's written like ayn, the beginning of the ayn, but it's on top of the line. So it's just like as if you're writing then you stop, change your mind and quit. Alright? But here is the trick. This Hamza is really like a parasitic consonant. It sits on the line by itself, just like so. But in many cases it will take other letters as seats. So here, for example, it may sit on the alif, on top of the alif. And it will not acquire the sound of the alif or the waw or the ya. It just takes it as a seat and behaves on its own. So la, which is to eat, or la, to ask, la. Notice that the final alif, if it follows the lam, it's that 45 degrees angle, mala'a. It may also take waw as a seat. For example, su'al, a question, su'alun, or lu'lu'un, which is gem, lu'lu'un. Or it may take ya as a seat. But notice when the ya is used as a seat for the Hamza, it loses its dots. For example, bit, and there's the Hamza, run, or the abun, or shati'un. So the Hamza right there again, using the ya as a seat. Or in some cases, it just sits on the line by itself. There is nothing else. For example, tasa'ala, or thaw'un. So the Hamza is sitting there on the line. And there are rules. They're very complex rules, but I'm going to graph them here for basically to summarize it, but it's not. There is nothing really perfect that will bring all the explanations. So what I'm doing here, I'm basically assigning a power to the short vowels. It's the short vowels or absence of short vowels that dictates what the seat is. And the Hamza, the kasra, so this is a letter and there is a kasra underneath it, has more power in dictating what the seat would want. So if it's a kasra usually gets along with the ya. Wow, remember the wow is another cousin, a little cousin of the u. And the fatha is another cousin of the alif. And this is long vowels or a sukun. So if it is a fatha, the Hamza would rather take the alif. If it's an u, the Hamza would rather take the waw. If it's kasra, the Hamza would take the ya. And if it's none, then it sits on the line. If it's a sukun or waw or ya. And this goes preceding it. Either the Hamza has a sukun attached to it, or the letter before it has one of these, a, e, or o. So you look at both. First you look at the letter before it. Does it have a kasra, fatha, or dhamma? And then look at the Hamza. And usually you'll be able to predict where the seat will, what seat it will take. Another little nifty thing to keep in mind is that Hamza plus alif, instead of writing Hamza like this, you actually just write an alif and put this squiggly shape on top of it. So you don't do this, you put this. So Hamza plus alif will be long madda, called alif madda, such as the Quran. So Quran is actually, that's a ra, it's supposed to be a nice ra like that. And instead of writing it like this, although I've seen it written like that, but it's a common mistake, what it should be written is Quran. Another thing to keep in mind is when the ya doesn't have dots and doesn't have a Hamza sitting on it, this will be called alif maqsura, which is more like a sound than ya. So don't say it's not Ali, it's ala, as if there is an alif instead of a ya. Also, this word, it's hada, which is this. Although it doesn't have an alif, but when you pronounce it, it's as if there is an alif right there. Hada. The same thing with lakin, and with the same thing with dhalika, that. This is hada, this, lakin, however, dhalika, that. As if there are alif here, alif here, alif here, but they're never written. Another nifty thing to know is that about the Arabic language is that it's a gendered language. Nouns are either male or female. And to make something that is male female, all what you need to do is add what you call ta marbuta. Ta marbuta, which is like the ha with two dots on it, or it may look like this if it connects. So if it's isolated, it's this. If it connects, it's like this. For example, talibun. Remember this, a student. You want to make it feminine, you just add the ta marbut, talibatun. A male student, a female student. An adjective, jadid, new. You add ta marbuta and becomes new, but it's feminine. Arabi, arabiyun, arabiyun. You add the ta marbuta and becomes feminine. All the letters are here. And in terms of grammar, keep in mind the definite, tarif, definiteness using alif lam. Tanween in nakira. Tanween in nakira, those the that, or that, or that. تنوين. And then sun letter, الحروف الشمسية, sun letters, 14 of them. And then feminine nouns, how you make feminine out of masculine by adding the ta marbuta at the end, basically. And that concludes the Arabic alphabet.